Nevada. And at first, people are puzzled. He has this blue state strategy. We're in the middle of a campaign. He's going to Coachella in California and then Aurora, Colorado, and he announced Madison Square Gardens in New York City.
Yeah, he's in offense. That's why.
But this is kind of a sign of confidence. They must be looking at their internal polls, feeling really good, and thinking, let's make a splash. Let's have some fun now.
Yeah, Reno, the biggest little city in the world, right? One of my favorites, obviously. Look, this is what's important about his confidence, is that it interweaves with the Democrats, sort of the widespread messaging that they are in a panic. And here's my advice to everyone. It's for the Republicans not to get too safe, not to get too comfortable, and to realize that the Democrats, like everything, are using that simply as a tool. Now, we have headlines that have littered throughout mainstream media, The Hill, Politico, AP. Democrats are anxious. Democrats hit the panic button. Haunted by 2016. The list goes on. And then you see how it is harnessed by, for example, former President Obama. You anxious? Get out and get the vote out, right? There's a huge campaign centered around this panic button, and all that will do is flock them and flood them to the ballots even more than Republicans. So I love the display of confidence because I feel like, unlike the Dems, it's actually based on reality, but we cannot get too confident. No one can sit home in November. No one at all, either party.
There's the headlines, and no doubt that's been the theme of this week, Democrats panicking. And then there's even on-the-record Democrats, smart Democrats, top-debt Democrats panicking. Let's watch Carville. Let's watch Axelrod.
Only thing I feel is the election's coming November 5th. And I'm scared to death, and I'll get a time to, obviously.
You're not in a reflective mood.
Not in a particular reflective mood right now. I'm very, very concerned.
I think the vibe right now isn't great. There's concern. I'm not minimizing the fact that I do think she stalled out about 10 days after the debate.
I mean, Cheryl.
Of course, because she's not a real candidate. She didn't go through the process. She hasn't earned the trust of the voters, even from the Democratic Party. And there's a reason you have to go through this process for testing yourself. It builds you up your character. Now it's like they pour a poor guy to run a bank without knowing the skills. And she's aging very fast, man. She's not built for this.
Well, it's a definite shift from Democrats who are kind of truth tellers in the party.
Right. Well, okay, you have James Carville, who he's Bill Clinton's, right-hand guy, or he was, and he knows what he's talking about. They must be seeing something in their internal polling that is telling them how much more she's in trouble than the polling that we see. Because the polling that we have, there's a new Wall Street Journal poll out today, close race in all the swing states. Some have Trump up by 5 points, like in Nevada, for instance. As far as David Axelrod, I think he's using his television appearances to coach her and to get a message directly to her and to Tim Walz that you need to start speaking the language of the moderates and you need to start answering questions.
No. That's not going to fix it. Why are we undermining the fact that she didn't go through the process? It's like these people want to just make money from this. I get it. But that's the problem, folks. She never went through the process. She's not going to earn the trust of the voters. And that's why the first time that she ran, nobody likes her. But that's it. All comes down to that. If she didn't have the media so in favor of her, she wouldn't even have those big numbers. How is it that before Biden, Trump was ahead like 15, 20 points? All of a sudden, Biden goes down, and then they're pretending to have this fiasco that everything is close. There's a close race. They want to make money.
And by the way, I had Newt Gingrich on with me this morning on Fox Business, and I asked him the same exact question about why all of a sudden do you have James Carville coming out here and saying that he's scared? And he said, look, the reason that Clinton and Obama are going out and hitting the campaign trail for her is because of the panic button. He said that's a true thing. He also said it's going to hurt her because you're going to have two actual presidents who were leaders and that she's going to look weak compared to Obama and Clinton. I thought that was an interesting choice of words from Newt.
It is. Todd, I go back to the polling errors in 2016 and in 2020, and they did go against Trump. They underpolled Trump voters. Not the same for the midterms. Everyone thought red wave, so the midterm polls overestimated the Republican voter. But this is the poll I keep going back.
Because Trump was not on the ballot.
To. If the polls have that same error, kind of undercounting the Trump voter, this is the reason I'd be panicking. You see Harris is up 1.8% nationally. Biden at this time was up 10.6% nationally, 5 times the lead Harris has.
So you have to ask the question, why? And I think this has 100% to do with the fact that we are about 3 weeks away from the election. And Kamala Harris still can't deliver that bite-sized nugget thesis statement. Remember when we were in school, you had to deliver the thesis statement, that one main takeaway for every paper you wrote? We still don't know what that thesis statement is from her on the economy. She wants to help the middle class. Great, so does everybody. That's not a plan. What's her plan on immigration? She goes back and forth, doesn't come up with any specifics, whereas Donald Trump delivers bite-sized nuggets that when you're in the voting booth, you can take away. The only deliverable that she delivers on the campaign trail is that Trump is a threat to democracy. And I think at this point, that is near...
Because they've been running with this kind of statement or whatever, or kind of whatever they call it. I forgot the name. For almost 10 years. And they try to just take... Have you guys noticed they haven't tried a third time with Trump? Because it's too obvious. And you know what's funny about this? How is it that the Kamala campaign, they're running this campaign like there's nothing's going to happen to them? You see what I'm saying? Now the gloves are off. And I think the Democrats now they're like, well, we don't have any other option. We have to run the campaign. And they really think the Americans are these stupid. They're running these early 2000 kind of strategies, trying to just fake stage, going down to the border, going to, to North Carolina. It's so fake, man.
Background noise, especially in those blue wall states that are the main concern for the Democrats right now. Because if you're a 45-year-old guy like me, undecided in your vote, what are you focused on? This concept of democracy or the fact that you're having trouble paying for your kids? To me, the latter resonates more with somebody my age, and I think that's what's hurting her in the blue wall right now.
Tommy, let's go a layer deeper, because the headlines have not just been Democratic panic, but Democratic panic over some of the crosstabs in the polls. And you see this here. You see the Hill, Democrats fearing that Harris is losing too many male voters to Trump. USA Today and Razor Close Nevada, Latino men shy away from Harris. And Wall Street Journal, Kamala is struggling to break through with working class voters. These are huge subgroups that Democrats must win, or at least excel somewhat with.
Also want to say, I don't believe it has anything to do with her being a woman. I don't think that's why she's having a problem with male voters. I think it's because she doesn't connect with them, to your point, Todd, on the issues that matter most to them. And I would also, to piggyback off your point, you have to be in a pretty privileged position, like those in the media are, to think that January 6th and democracy is the reason you're going to go and cast your vote for this candidate or the other. That's a very privileged position to be in. Most Americans, thanks to her and Joe's economy, are not in that position. But she's struggling because she doesn't have authenticity. And that matters to every group across the board. It even matters to young people. And we're seeing that she's doing well with young people, but not as well as she could be, because people can sniff that out. She's got a different accent every group she talks to. She relies on the talking points, and she comes across as unprepared and messy. This last week has been messy, not just because there's two major hurricanes and it's very tone deaf to go on Colbert and call her daddy, but also because in every
that's Tony Robert, and I'm not feeling her. But yeah, that's what it is. So currently, yeah, she doesn't have the foundation to keep doing a campaign like this. She doesn't have it. Trump has it. Trump already went through the grinder of proving himself. He's gonna bring it back home. And he's going to keep increasing his lead. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala Harris' campaign might collapse even beforehand. They start putting money out. I mean, when they start telling them, hey, man, we cannot we cannot do what we did in 2020. We cannot do that. Now we have a lot of eyes watching. We're not going to pull it out. She might have to pull back. A lot of money might be pulled back, but I don't see it happening. A lot of eyes are just literally watching this campaign very closely. So I wouldn't be surprised that, they start pulling money out by the end of the campaign. But let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next one. I'm out.